Hello, wrestling fans, and welcome to another episode of Under the Bottom Rope with your host, the meat-cutting, podcast-slinging, blues harmonica playing Big Bad Boo Bear. And that's right, this is another episode of Under the Bottom Rope, and just like the previous episodes before, I'm bringing you a little bit of this, a little bit of that in the wrestling world. And this night's episode is going to be about one Mr. Sanada. That's right. If you haven't heard through the Voices of Wrestling or the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Sanada is up for free agency. Yeah. Real quick, if you are unfamiliar with Sanada, he is a part of the wrestling stable in New Japan Pro, Los Ingobernables de Japón, and yes, I just love to find an excuse to get to say that, because I fucking love that as a name for a faction. But I digress. Sanada, very impressive. Guy finally, spoilers, finally just beat Kazuchika Okada in the G1 for the first time. He's been up against him a couple of times, and I've watched the last match they had. I don't know if it's the exact same last match, but the last match I saw with them was last year. And it may have been, no, it wasn't in the G1 the last time I seen them wrestle. It was right after Wrestle Kingdom. I think it was his first title defense. It was not last year either. Yes, it was. It was right after his title defense against Naito at Wrestle Kingdom. Great match. I didn't see this one yet. But once again, yes, he's up free agency. And so there are people that are wanting to put a bid out there for him, the biggest being a possible WWE bid wanting to bring him to the States. And I think this is a terrible idea. And, you know, I know you guys out there listening are like, of course you think it's a terrible idea. And before you start getting on your keyboards, you know, it's the same thing. Sanada could be really good in WWE. He could do a lot of great things in WWE. There are some great matchups there. You know, you could see him have some great matchups with Ricochet on the main roster. You could see him take down NXT, because I know that he just burned it up there. The Cold Skull gimmick is still really fucking cool. The problem is, in the article that I read, and anything I've heard, it comes down to one specific thing. And that's if he's handled correctly. And that's the problem, is that he ends up in WWE and he is mishandled. And his career is shot. And it happens. You know, it happens to every single one of these great wrestlers across the board. Just like Kushida. Now, I haven't been watching NXT. You know, I haven't been watching any WWE, honestly. You know, I just can't bear to watch it. Now, I know that Bischoff and Heyman are taking over Raw and SmackDown, respectively. So, I mean, I do plan on maybe starting to check it out a little bit and seeing how it is, because I am hearing some good things. I am, you know, and I'll give credit where credit's due. I'm on the tweeters, and I'm hearing from different viewers and different people involved that Raw and SmackDown are starting to step it up a little bit. So, I mean, if the product's good, you know, the people will come. That's part of the wrestling deal. If the product is good, the people will come. So if the product is stepping up, I'll be the first one to say, hey, you know, doing a good job. So I'm going to have to check it out soon. But, once again, I digress. Up to this point, when they've brung in new guys, especially, you know, these big independents, they've mishandled them. They've, you know, missed the boat on several fucking great matches. You know, Samoa Joe came over. They left him in NXT for, 2-3 fucking years? And he ate up NXT. He did fucking good down there. And they brought him to the main roster. And Kevin Owens, great in NXT. Brought to the main roster. He's been, I mean, in my opinion at least. And that's unfortunate, because Kevin Steen in ROH is fucking awesome. El Generico in ROH is fucking awesome. You know. And I don't know if it's because the guys are getting older. I don't know if it's because the writers suck. And like I said, things could be changing. We're in a transitional period right this minute. So, I mean, this could all be outdated tomorrow. But as it stands this very second, I think Sanada coming to WWE is a bad idea. You know, it's just a track record. I don't want to see Sanada's career just, you know, I don't want to see it just get fucked up. Because he's got a lengthy career in front of him. in New Japan. I mean, I think eventually, if given the right push, Sanada could very well be that main event guy that New Japan needs to take over after Kazuchika Okada. I mean, that's a pretty big judgment, a pretty big, foreseeing, but it could happen. Naito is not going to get any younger, and I mean, he's kind of the guy they've had as the main villain against Okada, like, every single time, which is not a bad thing because they've always put on 5-star fucking matches, so, I love seeing them wrestle. But eventually you're going to need somebody else, and I think Sanada could be in that same realm of either one, Naito or Okada. I mean, hell, you could see Sanada make his way up to the big leagues in the heavyweight division like he already has, and become an IWGP champion and be fighting against Naito. His old mentor, his old master, and Los Ingobernables de Japón. Yes, I love saying that. But, I don't know, that's what I wanted to talk about. Sanada possibly leaving New Japan Pro Wrestling, heading to WWE. Nothing's been confirmed. It's all just out there in the rumor mill. But if it is a possibility, it's one he needs to stay away from, in my opinion. This has been another episode of Under the Bottom Rope with the Big Bad Boo Bear. Hope you guys enjoy. We'll be having an episode coming up soon. We're hoping to get together Wednesday. My work schedule's finally starting to even out. I am on day 10 of like a 12-day run of just fucking like 10 hours every day. I've just been busting my ass. Had a lot of stuff going on at work. So hopefully we'll be back soon in full force with the World Wrestling Podcast. And you'll get more than a 5 to 7 minute episode of just me talking nonsense. Have a great evening, guys. Thanks for stopping by.